Guys, welcome back to the Uncensored Critic podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So, thank you, as always, for your time. And today we have the return of another fantastic guest, a Shakespeare aficionado, a RSC voice coach. Everyone who should want to know about Shakespeare should ask this lady. An incredible amount of work under her belt. And it's a really warm welcome back to the fantastic Kate Godfrey. Kate, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
No, it's all you, Kate. Thank you for your time. So, the first question for yourself really is just catching up. So, how have you been?
I've been very well, thank you. Yeah, I've been sort of quite busy, and what's been lovely is I've been back doing Shakespeare.
Hmm.
I've been back at the RSC, and they've just finished the run of Ellen Rhodes' A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Hmm.
And now I'm working at the Regent's Park Theatre doing Twelfth Night. So
Wow.
it's really lovely.
Right. How's it going, 12th night so far?
Well, it's quite early days,
Hmm.
and so I'm just starting to work with the company, and but so far so very good. Yeah.
So far, so very good. Yeah. And of course, I remember last time we talked about you were involved with Ocean at the End of the Lane. That was just about going, it was on tour. It just finished its run in London. And then went around just around the UK. I'm not sure if it went any further than that. But
Yeah.
were you getting
Yeah.
show reports, feedback about that?
Yes, I was. And in fact, in the last podcast, I was saying, it's finished its run in London and now it's off on tour. And then it came back to London
It
at the
did.
end of
Yeah.
what turned into a year-long tour, I think.
Wow.
Quite something. And then came back to London. So that was great. Yeah.
I haven't got round to it yet. I need to get round. I know I probably said that last time, but a lot of people made a lot of comparisons to Stranger Things. They said it was very much this big immersive kind of alien world put on stage and everything. So without giving too much away, was that kind of the gist of the show? Because it's gone down a storm everywhere it's been.
Yes, I think they are very similar in some ways. I saw Stranger Things. It's an incredible piece of work,
Mm.
but I suppose if you've seen the TV series, then I think you really get something out of it.
Mm.
Because it seems to me it's a prequel to that. And Ocean at the End of the Lane is perhaps maybe more of a sort of um, package in itself.
Mm.
It's beginning, a middle, and end. You see it all there in front of you.
Yeah.
But they are very similar in feel and vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. It's literally like putting the Netflix series just up on stage, and so you're seeing it like being immersed in it, of course, which is the magic of theatre, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hugely,
Yes.
hugely. So you mentioned the 12th night you've been working on, you said it was early days and everything. And, we talked last time about how just your journey with the magical words of William Shakespeare and everything. And one thing I always like to ask is that, some people keep saying they're still discovering new things about Shakespeare and having, in the crux of a Shakespeare rehearsal now, are there new things you're hearing about, well, particularly 12th night, even after the amount of times you've worked on it?
Oh, yes, I'm sure there is. Is there anything particular comes to mind? Um, can't think of any. Oh, my mind's gone blank. But I have worked on that show quite a few times,
Yeah.
and you come up against the same knotty problems
Mm.
each production. There's a very strange exchange between Maria and Sir Andrew Aguecheek about the buttery bar, and I never really know what that's about. So I think usually we just find our own version of what it means, because
Mm.
the language goes really strange, and I think they're trying to Mariah and Sir Toby Belch are trying to sort of gull Sir Andrew, and who's an absolute innocent. So I think the situation is very clear, but the language goes so Elizabethan. I think it must have meant something to them that it's really difficult for us. But maybe there are Shakespeare scholars who could enlighten me, and I'd be very grateful for that.
You heard it here first, guys. Anyone who wants to help out?
Anyone out there, please let us know.
You know where to find
What
them.
is so a
Yeah,
dry jest, a dry metaphor, a dry fool?
a dry fool.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
No, because interesting. I remember being at drama school once, and for like I was at this workshop, I think at RADA. This is going back a few years now, but it's funny because one of the girls, well, the lady who took the workshop said that she sits on audition panels every year, and somehow she'll hear these speeches like Twelfth Night or the Scottish play or Othello or something like that, and she'll sit there and someone will do it, and they'll hear something and they'll go, "Do you know, I never thought of it like that. Oh, that's why later on that stuff happens. Even though they've probably heard that speech, thousands of times, yet they're still discovering new things. Is that something that happens to you a lot?
Yes, I think it does. I think it's fascinating how everyone has their own take on a speech, and you think, oh yeah, I've never heard that line quite so distinctly before. And I think it's probably we were in again, and the last time we spoke, we talked about audition speeches and whether you do the really well-known ones. And I think for that very reason, you can make it your own. Yes, why not? That
Why not?
you may find there's something that you've got that no one else found.
Because I think it's like life experience. It's everyone's walk, everyone's journey, and they'll find something in this text, and then somehow it brings on a new life of its own. And I think there's nothing more satisfying than sort of seeing new life in material that you thought you'd got everything out of, and yet there's always something there, isn't there?
Yeah.
No, do you know what? I heard this story from David Arnold, who played, for anyone who doesn't know, who's Argus Filch in Harry Potter, and he's also Walder Frey in Game of Thrones. But he talked a lot about he did this interview talking about how he would be, funny enough, he was doing King Lear actually, and he was in the wings with, I can't remember, another actor. They came in and there was the storm, and then they walk off. And someone asked him a question about, do you stay in the character the whole time? And he goes, well, no, funny enough, because in my days, I think he was at the RSC or working on Shakespeare, he'd work with actors, they'd be telling stories in the wings, and then they'd hear their cue, and they'd come on and do the Shakespeare, and then come off afterwards and be like, okay, so as I was saying, and I'm like, what?
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
How are you doing that? Honestly. Yeah.
I think it's astounding that relaxation to be able to be absolutely in the moment when you're on that stage, but it doesn't sort of get precious. It's sort of some actors are able to, maybe others they have to stay in character.
I can't imagine just I'd love to hear your stories as well, working with actors and you see them like in the wings and stuff, and they're just chatting away. And then another one is I think John Gielgud, he did a play called No Man's Land by Harold Pinter, and he sat and Pinter said he told this story that he was backstage with Ralph Richardson, and they're literally just about to go on, and he hears them talking about, so what did you have for lunch today, old boy? And I was like, oh, I went to Rules. Oh yeah, how was it? What did you have? Oh, the Rognon Duveau was superb. And it's like, yes, yeah, what, a glass of claret? Oh yes, lovely glass of claret. And then the stage manager said, okay guys, you're on. And they just went, and on they went.
That's such skill, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you could do that.
No, I mean, at the moment I need to have like my own time and just like get in the zone, and then I'm on. But for those guys, it was like, so, oh, what did you have for lunch? Oh, it was really good. Oh, we're on. Okay, here we go. And it's like,
yes,
that's experience. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And someone made the wonderful quote about to care and not to care about theatre. Maybe there is a balance you can find of not getting too fixated with it.
I remember our last conversation very well, and I just thought, I've got to get you back, Kate. I'd love to hear more of your stories. But then I'd love to go through some Shakespeare with you. We've been talking about doing some work on this. We've got a few speeches here. One from Othello. We've got Iago's speech. We've got one from Henry VI, Part 3, and we've got one from Midsummer Night's Dream, Helena's first monologue as well. So we're going to go through
Yes.
some of those today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to get you back to talk about how you approach Shakespeare, and we talked a little bit yesterday about the various exercises that you do and how you work with actors. And I'd love to do a live dissection of Shakespeare with you today, and so we
Ah,
can get an idea of what it's like working with yourself and working on this text in the best possible way for anyone who's done Shakespeare or doing Shakespeare or starting out with it. I feel like this will speak to everyone at whatever stage in their journey that they are with it.
yeah,
So yeah, what do you think?
absolutely. How lovely. And we thought we might start with Iago, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah.
And well, certainly in a workshop situation, I don't know how you if this is the same for you, Oliver, but when the group reads the speech and I'm part of that, I never take in a word. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what it is. It's maybe a dyslexia thing with me, but I kind of think, "Uh, what?
Yeah.
So this is an exercise I sometimes do with a speech, and we're going to start not from the top down, but from the bottom up.
Hmm.
And we're going to actually cover up the whole of the speech with a piece of paper, except for the very last line.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you just to read that very last line, must bring this.
Okay. Uh, must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yeah. And it's quite a sentence, actually, isn't it?
Mm.
Must bring this. Just go again with that and just feel the images. Well, feel the images. That's interesting. Feel
Mhm.
the words in your mouth. Experience the images. What words do you like? What don't you like?
Yeah, I think just quickly, I think the word monstrous has a lovely like impact. This monstrous birth to the
Mm,
world's light. It's like those words have more emphasis. Well, you can put more emphasis on those too, and
yeah.
then monstrous birth to the world's light, and then that's the intent being really cemented there. And of
Yes.
course, this speech is about intent. You know, Iago is telling the
Yeah.
audience, which he does a lot in his own soliloquies, essentially about his plan and what he's doing, going to do to Othello. And
Yes.
yeah, but anyway, I'll do that again for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yes. And we're going to pretend we don't know anything about what this is saying.
Yeah, sorry.
We don't know about this speech. So we don't know what is going to bring this monstrous birth, and we don't know what the birth is yet.
Mm,
So we're going to see if perhaps we're enlightened by the next line up. So just push that page up one line up and then
yep.
just do that new line on its own.
Okay. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night.
And I'm going to ask you just to stop there. But of course, there isn't any stoppage at the end of that line. It's
Mm,
going to go on and round into the line we've just done. And
mm,
we also have I have it full stop at a very strange place, isn't it? Right at almost at the beginning of the line, you have a full
yeah,
stop.
yeah,
And then another, actually, it is engendered.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So two little tiny sentences. Um, just do that line on its own again, Oliver.
Okay. Just up to hell and night, or just
Yeah.
yeah, do the whole thing. Okay. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night.
Really good. And isn't that wonderful? I had to look up engendered
Mm,
because I thought that's an extraordinary word. And it's the situation starting to exist. It's the perfect word. And I was thinking, what else might you put there? Something starting to percolate? And it's just so naff
mm,
compared to engendered. Something is being, well, it's almost sort of birth language as well, isn't it?
yeah. And or the one thing I got from is engendered, or it's like inheritance. That's the word that stuck out for me was
Uh-huh.
it is engendered. It is now part of me. It's
Yeah,
now in my body. If that
really
makes
good.
sense. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And Patsy Rodenberg, who, I worked with for so many years, she would say, you're by doing that, you're investing the words
Mm,
to you. You really are owning them. And then going back to our earlier conversation, I think then you're very much less likely to dry. And if you forget your lines, and if you do, you can get back on track much quicker because you've owned this language.
mm.
So now, I'd like you to do from I have down to world's light. So we'll just put all that together.
Okay. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yeah, good. So sorry.
That's okay.
Um, we still don't know what it is. I
Mm,
have it. I have what? What is engendered? Are we going to find out? Next line up.
okay. As will as tenderly be led by the nose as
No,
asses are.
as asses are. Well, in my version, I've just got that on its own.
Okay. Yeah,
Asses
we'll go with your version. I got mine from the internet, so there might be a bit of a typo.
Me too. Interesting. So you've got
As,
yes, okay. Let's do and will as tenderly. Let's add that as well.
okay.
Just to as asses are, and
All
then
right.
stop.
And will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are.
Yes. Interesting. We're suddenly talking about donkeys,
Donkeys. Now,
asses. I think an ass is a halfway between a donkey and a horse.
yeah.
Um,
It's like a young horse, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's, a bit of an ass, young, easily led, foolish,
Yes.
someone who's easily manipulated, told what to do.
Tenderly led by the nose.
Just that word as well, tenderly. Just come on,
Yeah, yeah,
tenderly led. Come on.
exactly. Exactly. It may not be that important, but it's there. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what will be tenderly led by the nose? We have no idea, but it's like an ass, whatever it is, or whoever it is. Let's see if we find out any more. Just do the next line up.
Okay. That thinks men honest, that but seem to be so.
Very nicely read. Yes, I like the thinks and the seems, that thinks men on this, that, but seem to be so. They're on the strong beat there. Yeah,
Hmm.
lovely. So you could perhaps do the three, well, the two, yes, for you, that's two lines down to asses are just from that thinks men honest. Just put those together.
That thinks men honest, that but seem to be so, and
Yeah,
will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are.
good.
Yeah. We're getting more of a picture now, aren't we?
Yes, but we still don't have the full picture, do we?
No, 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 no.
It's like an old-fashioned photograph in a developing like a
Yeah.
bath. This
They
is
put it
all
in water and it slowly
water,
develops.
and
Yeah.
it's you could see the photographs sort of just gently coming into definition.
Mm,
So then let's see if we find out any more in the next line up.
okay. The Moor is of a free and open nature.
Yes, and just do that line again.
The Moor is of a free and open nature.
And now we're going to put it together down to asses are with the other lines.
Okay. The Moor is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest, that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are.
Yeah. So now we know who the ass is. It's the Moor.
The Moor. Who is the
And
Moor?
yeah, indeed. Yes. Um, but it just lets you know that you've got to make that the Moor is of a free and open. We need to know that line. We need to really hear that line to make the sense of the rest of the thought.
Yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
the Moor is of a free and open nature. So the emphasis is definitely there because, well, it has to be there because that's who we're talking about. So
Yeah. Yeah. So just do that down to the bottom now.
Okay. All the way down to world's light.
Yeah.
Okay. The Moor is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yes. So we've got some of the detail, but not all of it. We still don't know what this I have it is, do we? We're going to move up one line, and we have the line ending with a full stop. So it's the end of another thought. Let's just see, just do that one about to be suspected.
To be suspected, framed to make women false.
Yes, we don't know who or what is to be suspected, but just do that line again. Just feel that line in your mouth.
Okay. To be suspected, framed to make women false.
Yeah. Who is? Let's see if we get any more information if we go up one.
Okay. He hath a person and a smooth dispose.
So we don't know who yet, but we get a bit more information.
Yeah.
Hath a what? Let's go through that again.
He hath a person and a smooth dispose. So he has a character and a smooth, relaxed way of doing things.
Yes, a disposition, perhaps. It's very personable, maybe. We're getting from he hath a person.
He hath a person. Does that mean like he has a personality or he is a person? Is
I
that
think,
right?
yeah, I think it's probably more about his personality. He's personable.
Yeah.
And smooth. He's easy. People like to be around him. He's got people skills, perhaps. So we've just put those two together down to women false.
Okay. He hath a person and a smooth dispose to be suspected, framed to make women false.
Yes. So isn't that interesting that you would suspect his qualities, perhaps?
So he knows of him, so he knows his ways, he knows of his disposition.
Yeah.
He has a very good way
Iago.
of doing, yeah, so he has a very good way of doing things. So he's aware of what he does to make people want to talk to him, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. And then okay, so we go up one line, we're at the end of another thought. So that's just a little thought about somebody we don't know yet. Just do that he is too.
That he is too familiar with his wife.
So we've got he's and hises there. And so we don't know who is familiar with whose wife yet. Or is it that it sounds like, a man is very familiar with his own wife, which you would hope would be the case. We don't know yet. So just stay with the chaos. And we're going up one line.
Okay. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear.
Yes, to abuse whose ear?
Othello's ear.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to hear that name, and thereby we know perhaps who's familiar with who. Let's just go up one. Oh yes, this is.
I get more of a picture now. So, in double knavery, how? How? Let's see. So,
Yeah.
you get a sense like this is a plot now. This is from this perspective. This is a plan. He's trying to work something out. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I probably spoiled it earlier. Let's pretend I didn't say that. But
So I think that's quite helpful actually for,
okay, all right,
you know,
okay. As
yeah,
long as it's helpful, then that's okay. But
yeah,
yeah, so he's planning. So this is a
yeah.
plan. Like that word's knavery, you know, double knavery.
Mm,
So there's more than one plan now.
yes. Or
Mm,
it's, yes, that's interesting, isn't it? Double knavery,
yeah.
really deep into it. And I think, you mentioning what the speech is about earlier, I think that often happens. We know intellectually what it's about, but this is us really, as I said before, investing in the words that tell the audience what it's about. For someone who doesn't have it in front of them, who's never seen the play,
Mm,
we've got to communicate that, and they've got to hear it once and understand it.
yeah, absolutely. In double knavery, how? How? Let's see. I
Go
think
on
that,
down. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, no, just very quickly, I think, double knavery, and then Shakespeare uses how twice. So double knavery, how do I do A? How do I do B?
Mm,
Let's see.
double. Line down to the bottom. Let's see what we've got now.
Okay. In double knavery, how? How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he is too familiar with his wife, he hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The more is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Very nice. And
Mm,
what really struck me there was it does sound at this point that we're talking about Othello being too familiar with his wife and Othello being the person of smooth dispose. And so it is still confusing. So let's see if we take up a line,
yeah.
um, it'd be very interesting to know when we find out who's who in this and who's doing what.
Mm.
Um,
So we've got the next line. To
this
get
one?
his place and plume up my will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and plume, and then just do that line and the line below it down to the full stop. Let's see.
Okay. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let's see.
Yeah. So we don't know whose place. Isn't that lovely to plume up my will?
To plume up my will to
Hmm.
is that to kind of build it up to
So,
increase my there's got to be there's a word for it to make my plan stronger to I don't know, yeah, it's basically to get my will up, to make it more possible if
yes, I
that's
think
right.
so. But isn't it
Yeah.
interesting how we know exactly what it means, but we can't put it into words because he's found just such an extraordinary image of plumes, feathers,
Mm,
um, that will, yeah, just it has an enlightening kind of image to it, doesn't it?
mm.
Strange to plume up my will. And
Plume my
and
will.
I I'm often saying to actors, not just in Shakespeare, but make us aware of the author's choice of words.
Mm,
And so something like that, we might have, yeah, plume up and take it for granted that we know what that means, but actually we're struggling a bit to really put
yeah.
it into words ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, because I never thought of the image, like you said, feathers there, a plume of feathers. I thought, oh, is that what it's called? And it's like,
Yes.
yeah.
What did you think?
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't quite sure. I just thought
Yeah.
it was another word to say I'm gonna extrapolate or increase my chances of getting my will being
Mm,
noticed. In other
mm.
words, yeah, like we feel like there's a way of saying it, but it's if we're kind of scattering around it really. But
Yeah.
essentially, saying, to get my purpose, to get my plan executed, to
Yeah.
to get something done. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, if
Yes.
that's right. Yeah,
And if it is about feathers, and it, who knows, but it gives it a real lightness rather than a, oh, I gotta do this. It's, to get his place and plume. We got nice peas there. Um, yeah, it's just an interesting choice. I
yeah.
think maybe if we go up a line, let's see what we've got there.
Okay. Cassio is a proper man. Let me see now. Now,
Mm,
now we've got a third. Who's Cassio?
yes,
Yeah,
Cassio's, and he's a proper man. Yeah,
proper man.
and then you
What's
get a full stop.
let me see now. Now that's just quickly. That's a caesura, right? Breaking the line in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, yes. And it's telling us very definitely with that full stop. But
Mm,
yes, most verse lines will have a sort of little break, won't they? To help, I think it's helped the listener um, take in the sense of the line.
mm,
So to get his place, I wonder if we went back down a line, to get his place and to plume up my will.
mm,
It's if we were sharing the line, it's the moment we would both mutually decide, yes, now I'll pass the rest of the line on to you.
mm.
If you were sharing the line with somebody, where would it make sense to pass it on to your partner?
Yeah.
Always have to be halfway through. Sometimes it's after the first word.
Mm,
Sometimes there isn't one at all.
mm,
And it's actually there's two lines that, the first line is one half of the caesura, the second one is the other.
mm. It almost like, and of course, he doesn't, well, his scene partner in this moment, because of being a soliloquy, is when he talks to the audience. So he's got
Mm.
like his compatriots or his fellow planners or his fellow um, vigilantes or something, conspirators or something like that. So, Cassio's a proper man, but let me see now. And it's like, would that be kind of a figure of balance in a way? Sort of be like, he's a proper man, but how am I gonna work this out? So he's kind of taught between
Mm.
idea and, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, if that makes sense.
Very good. I really like that. And it just shows his state of mind is a bit,
Mm,
it's he may be using the verse absolutely. Actually, I think this line is a little bit rocking the boat, as I would say.
okay.
You've got Cassio rather than da dum da dum. It would probably Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. It's very hard to scan it, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's it,
So it slightly rocks the boat. He's not sure.
yeah. And I think that's a good point to say when the meter, iambic pentameter, isn't quite as fluid as it is on other lines. The thing is another way of showing, like you said, his mental state as well. Like his mental state is going, it could be this, it could be that, and it's like it's all over the place, and he's trying to find a way to piece it all together. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, should we
So
go
we
up?
know, yes, we've got a plan. We've got Cassio, who we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We don't know why yet. So let's see if we find out. Next line up.
Yeah. So what's Cassio got to do with all this? So
Yeah.
the better shall my purpose work on him.
Yes. Work on who? Don't know.
Who?
Um, the better shall my purpose work on him. Let's go up just for the sake of time, Oliver, just sort of moving on a little bit. Let's
Okay.
go up. The next line we'll do as if.
Will do as if for surety he holds me well.
Yes, lots of little sentences. That's really unusual for Shakespeare, isn't it? There's
Mm,
these very short sentences. We'll do as if for surety. Of surety for what? We don't know. He holds me well. We don't know who.
yeah.
Um,
Who holds you well? Who?
yeah.
So forgot with just another one. So, but I for mere suspicion in that kind.
Yes.
What kind are we talking about?
Yeah, it's very weird. isn't it? Do you want to have a little run at it? But I, for mere suspicion, just go down to, how about down to asses are?
Okay. But I, for mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The more is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are.
Good. Yes. I think I'm still having a bit of trouble with that line. He is too familiar with his wife. I think you as the actor just need to know exactly who is too familiar with whose wife.
Yeah.
Get it. And then what helps us is going on about how gullible Othello is. And that we start to sort of perhaps further up the speech we hear about Cassio.
Mm.
That's very nice, Oliver. Really good. Going up one, what have we got there? Lots of funny little short sentences.
Yeah. I feel like just if I may just quickly just reading that there with all like breaking everything down, it's literally the feeling I got was someone who's like, okay, it could be this, or it could be that, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. In other words, he can't make up his mind. He's lost in his own head. Like how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And even as he goes further down, and he's getting more of a sense of how he could do something, yet that we're not really sure of yet.
Mm.
But okay, he's sort of saying, okay, I think I have a way. I think I'm doing it. But I think that's the beauty of the language as well, because the language giving you all these short sentences and stops and abrupt endings and stuff
Mm.
shows that his state of mind again is in a state of abruptness and how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? So Shakespeare gives you that gift
Yeah,
of character development already. It's already in the language, which I think is
yeah,
fantastic. But
yes.
anyways, the next line up.
Um,
He has done my office.
but there's no he there. Has done my office.
Yes, yes.
Or
So
have you got a he? That's strange.
yeah, I've
Have
got
you
okay, cool. So I've
got
just
he?
yeah, I've got a he. Yeah, I think because the internet's got so many different ones. Okay, so we'll do. They'll take the he off there.
Well, isn't that interesting? Read your line. What have you got? Does it fit in?
So the one I've got is he has done my office. I know not if it be true.
Mm. And I've just got has done my office. I know not if to be true.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it that way as well. So has done my office. I know not if it be true.
Yeah, and I suppose when you see sort of often if and then apostrophe t, if to be, if it be, I think that's trying to make everything fit into the beat. So it's quite good to go with that. I
Oh,
have, I have.
have to, or
Yeah,
if. I know
yeah,
not if to be true.
yeah.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go with your version this time. So we'll just start with has. So and also I think at the end of each line, I think I remember at drama school, you can take just a slight, not a pause, but just like my Shakespeare professor Jack called it a sip of breath. So you should take
Mm,
just a tiny, tiny little break, tiny little breather,
mm.
but it literally like, and then you're into the next one. And I think your version that would be more helpful because um, he hath done my office. So, but anyway, but I'm giving that away now, so I won't go into that bit there. But yeah, sip of breath at the end of each one.
I've
So
got an apostrophe just before the has to show, I think, that there should be a word there like he.
mm,
Um, but yes, that little sip of breath, that's nice.
okay, has done my office. I know not if it be true.
Yeah, I
So
know if to be. I've
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, let me do that again properly. Has done my office. I know not if it be true. Be true. So
Yeah.
he's he's planning something to get back at someone, but he
Hmm.
doesn't know if but he doesn't know if what he's getting this person back for is true.
Yes. Let's just do I know not if be true down to surety, just so we hear that thought.
Okay. He has done my office. I know not if to be true, but I for mere suspicion in that kind will do as if for surety.
So now we have suspicion versus surety, which
Mm.
is a nice thing to just to flag up the antithesis, um, which Shakespeare uses all the time, and that
Oh,
really helps tell the story.
he loves
So
a bit of antithesis. He really does.
yes, indeed. So just enjoy just giving us those words opposite each other.
Mm.
Suspicion, surety.
Yeah, I know not if it be true, but I will do it just to be sure. But
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah, or if it helps, I'll believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's believing like his own lies or own thought patterns in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just
I'll just
do
so
that thought again, Oliver.
okay. Has done my office. I know not if it be true, but I for mere suspicion in that kind will do as if for surety.
Very nice. Very nice. So now up we go, and it is thought.
Okay. And it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he.
Yeah. So we're into sort of sexual jealousy thing here, I think.
Yeah, twixt
Twixt
my
the sheet.
sheets. It's
And
like
that's the office that we might have been a bit confused about.
mm,
Has done my office, has done my job,
mm,
done my job in the bedroom.
yeah.
Oop, we
So
don't
he's
know.
see, we don't know. Is he accusing Othello of sleeping with his wife?
Seems so.
Twixt my sheets, like you said, that's a sexual connotation.
Yeah.
Twixt the sheets. Um, but again, it's thinking, no, this is great. I never thought of it like working backwards this way because you're thinking, what are you talking about here, Iago? What are you plotting?
Hmm.
What is this exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way before. So I got the next one up.
Yeah.
But for my sport and profit.
Don't know what that is.
No. And then he follows that up by going, I hate the more.
Beginning of the new thought. Yes. Another full
Mm.
stop halfway through.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so just do that line on its own again.
Okay. But uh, but for my sport and profit, I hate the more.
Good. So now I'm going to ask you, let's not worry about the sport and profit bit for now.
Okay.
Let's take, because I think it'd be nice to get a run at the speech. I hate the more down to how, let's see.
Okay.
See what we've got there.
I hate the more. And it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if it be true, but I, for mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let's see.
Good,
Hmm.
good. I think maybe the just to get his place and to plume up my will. I think plume is a more interesting word than my,
Hmm.
and so I'd say to sometimes say to actors, don't go for the personal pronouns quite so much,
Hmm.
but the more interesting words. It's not always the case. Sometimes you really need that personal pronoun, but to plume up my will. It's such an extraordinary word.
Yeah. To,
Good, very nice indeed. Now, let's just see if we can find out more about the sport and profit if we go up one.
okay. If I would time expend with such a snipe.
Yes, a snipe.
Snipe.
Snipe. I'm thinking what the notes would say about a snipe. Yeah.
Snipe. But I would time
Kind of
expend
bird.
with snipe.
Hmm.
Just that word, snipe. If you watch war films, you've got a sniper on the roof, someone who takes people out like that.
Mm.
It's quick.
Mm.
I would time expend with such a snipe. Would time expend with such a snipe. So, in other words, like, is he looking to get this done quickly? I would time expend with such a snipe. Is there a sense of rushing there, do you think?
I'm not sure. Might
Okay.
have a different connotation for Shakespeare.
Hmm.
Uh, and for now, just do that line again and go down to the sport and profit, so we get the half of the sense of it at least.
If I would time expend with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit.
Yes. So who is the snipe? Let's see.
Who is the snipe?
Let's go up one.
Okay. For I, mine own gained knowledge, should profane.
Yes. That's interesting. My own gained knowledge should profane.
Profane.
It's another, well, if something's profane, it's wow. I was just thinking of Twelfth Night. For your ears, for other ears, divinity, for your ears, divinity, for others, for any others, profanation. Viola says to Olivia. Profanation is sort of swearing, damnable. It's a bad thing. To be profane is to behave badly, I think.
Mm. For mine own gained knowledge should profane. If I would time expend with such a snipe. Mm.
Except for, sport and profit.
But for my sport and profit.
Yeah.
And
So a snipe, I think it's not the sniper in this context. I think it's sort of like a fool, the gull.
mm,
My own gained knowledge should be debased, perhaps, is another word for profane.
mm. I'm
Good
just
to
gonna
look that up.
I'm gonna look that up right now, actually.
Yeah.
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 Profane. Let's see what the dictionary definition is. So
Mm.
profane. So not relating to that which is sacred or religious.
Mm.
So if you in other words, a talk that tackle topics both sacred and profane.
Yes, they often put those two together
Hmm.
as opposites. It's the opposite of sacred. It's damnable.
Yeah, not
You know,
relating that which is sacred or religious. So it's not relating to anything that's divine, anything that's religious, or anything that can give him like a blessing or any kind of sense of.
yeah,
So, in other words, this is his way of saying what I'm doing now, you know, all religion, all sacred stuff, all divine things, all powers that can get me into heaven.
yeah,
This is against all that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think so. Just do that line for I mine own.
For mine own gain knowledge should profane.
For I,
Mine own gained knowledge should profane.
yeah, I
Mine
would.
own gained knowledge should profane.
Yes.
For
Um,
mine own gained knowledge should profane. Is there another way of saying it?
mm.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's okay. If you use it as a verb, it says treat something sacred with irreverence or disrespect.
I think that's a useful definition for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then other words that are to violate, to defile, to desecrate. There's others here. To debase, to degrade, to contaminate, to pollute, to taint.
Yes,
Yeah.
all this about my gained knowledge, it would be tainted, debased. It would be, um,
That makes sense now. So for I, mine own gained knowledge should profane if I would time expend with such a snipe, but with for my sport and profit. So for I,
yes,
mine own gained knowledge, so what I know should
yeah,
violate. I would time expend with such snipe for my. So I would violate anything I know because of mine own gained knowledge, but for my sport and profit, for my gains.
yes. I know what I'm doing. I know
Yeah,
what it looks like.
yeah.
I'll have a plan. Don't worry about me.
Don't worry about it. I've got this.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
this.
I've got this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now we're up one last line. I think this is the beginning of the speech.
This is the beginning, yeah. So even right towards the end, there's still a huge guessing game. Again,
Mm,
shows this speech is essentially a guessing game. What can
yeah,
I do? And he
yeah.
starts, and it's almost like, and of course you could class Iago as essentially like a psychopath because he's got no empathy, he's got nothing, no love in him at all.
That's right. Patsy pointed out he's the one villain that never says at the end of the play, I repent of what I've done,
Yeah,
like Edmund does in King Lear.
yeah.
Uh,
I think
he never does.
yeah, at the end, I think his final line is, that which you know, but from this moment I shall speak no more.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm not saying sorry. I'm not talking anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, even just then, it's like this. Yeah. Anyway, final line.
Yeah. Just on its own.
Yeah. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse.
And our final line is actually the initial line of the speech, of course. This is
Mm.
the first thing he says. Thus, so just do that one again.
Thus do I ever make my fool my purse.
Yes. And this is talking about Rodrigo, his mate, that we've just seen an exchange with, haven't we? So, my fool, my purse. I make my fool my purse. Do you
I
make?
make my fool. So my f- my fool, my slave, my sort of handler, or no, not maybe not handler because that implies more
Like a stooge, isn't it?
stooge. Yes,
Yeah. Poor
that's
guy.
make my fool my person. Because I think before this, there's an exchange where he says to Rodrigo, "Put thy money in thy purse,"
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
he's reinforced, and so to the audience he goes, "Thus do ever make my fool my purse." I think Rory Kinnear did a really good thing at the National. He actually obviously had money with him, of course, but he was counting his money, and he goes, "Put thy money in thy purse," and then he turns to the audience, stuffs the cash into his wallet, and goes, like, imagine this is a wallet, and
Yeah.
goes, "Thus do I ever make my fool my purse.
Yeah.
For mine own gain knowledge should profane." And it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And the fool is who?
Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and yeah, I think it's this thing of I can just tap him for money anytime and he'll give it to me.
yeah. And it's almost like this is his first talk to the audience about
Mm.
just see what I can do.
Yeah.
Just thus do I ever make my fool my purse.
Great. Yeah. So
Let's
let's have the whole thing right from the top to bottom.
Here we go. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I my own gained knowledge should profane if I would time expend with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit. I hate the more, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if it be true, but I for mere suspicion in that kind will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio is a proper man, but let me see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The Moor is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yeah,
Mm.
very nice. How did that feel?
It felt, again, just this big ball of confusion. How,
Yeah.
how am I? It starts by going, I'm powerful. I know what
Mm.
I'm doing, but I could do this. 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 And it's like, oh right, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't need your permission. I'll go away. And it's like someone who's so assured of themselves, but clearly showing that he doesn't know what he's doing. And even in those final bits, he's going, "Oh, I've got a plan. I've got a plan." And but he doesn't tell the audience. And just reading it there now, from my reading, is saying it's almost like it almost feels a bit like a defense mechanism in a way. It's like I've got it. It's engendered. It's in here. And Helen
Yeah.
Knight's going to bring this monstrous birth to the world. It's like I'm not going to tell you how as of
Mm.
yet.
Mm.
I know how it's going to work, and you can't ask me how because it's none of your business.
Yes.
And yeah, but you can
Yeah.
clearly see that, yeah, I mean, for my, anyway, it felt very much like, I'm not sure how. And it's like figures of balance. It was like this the whole time.
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? Yeah. Well, yeah,
Mm.
I never read it with that sort of clarity before. So thank you, Kate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you made a lot of sense there. That was lovely. And I was just looking at on the page, my version, and will as tenderly be led by the nose. Next line, as asses are, and
Okay.
then there's a big long space, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
Yeah.
As asses are, da dum, da dum, da dum. So you've got three da dum, da dum, da dums as thinking time for the character, who then says,
Mm.
"I have it. It
Yeah.
isn't."
Yeah.
Uh,
We need that pause so he shows his
yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, him just, yep, got it. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I've, I've
really,
got, I've got a plan. I'm not
mm,
going to tell you how,
yeah,
but it's going to work.
yeah.
Now, follow me.
And yes, watch this. It's not going to be pretty.
No, it's not pretty. It's not. And for anyone who knows the play, it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Um, yeah,
Terrible.
I might just do that again, actually, if that's okay. But with
Oh,
asses are in a separate line, if that makes sense. We have time for things. Yeah.
yes, see if that works.
Okay. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I mine own gained knowledge should profane, if I would time expend with such a snipe, but for my sport and profit. I hate the Moor, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if be true, but I, for mere suspicion in that kind, will do as if for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio's a proper man. Let me see now. To get his place and to plume up my will in double knavery. How? How? Let's see. After some time, to abuse Othello's ear that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person and a smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The Moor is of a free and open nature, that thinks men honest that but seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. I have it. It is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth to the world's light.
Yeah,
Mm.
great. I think that was excellent. I was working with a client the other day, and we were using um, a speech of the Duke's from Othello, and
Mm,
we noticed how little punctuation there was in the Duke's speeches. Um, so you really, we would, we were just thinking back to our conversation about caesuras. You really needed the caesura to help make sense of what the Duke was saying. But with this, and it could just be the editor putting in a lot of full stops where perhaps in another version there are commas. But it's so interesting that different uh, punctuation and those short statements he makes.
mm.
Really nice. I think you did that very well indeed. It had a lot of sense behind it. You really made me listen.
Thank you. Yeah.
Lovely.
It felt that's like the clearest I've sort of understood it, and actually taking it apart. Throughout that, I'm going, I didn't realize that. No, I didn't pick up on that before. No, actually, yeah, and the amount of times, working with Jack at GSA, where she would keep saying that the language, the text, the punctuation, the commas, it's all there to help you into
Yeah.
to get
Yes.
to that. Um, and then these images coming to light. I never thought of Iago as, and there's a structure here as well. It's like we've talked about. Um, it's like, look how brilliant I am.
Mm.
I've got to, I hate this guy. I
Mm.
want to get at him. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how. Actually, no, I've got an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry. You'll hear more about it later,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it's gonna be monstrous.
Yeah.
And then the worst thing is, well, I, we then follow him.
Mm.
I think the play should be called Iago, not Othello, because
Yeah.
his story and his plan essentially to get someone completely out of power and completely out of favor with everyone, including like his wife, including Desdemona. It's,
Yes. The destruction is terrifying, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
is psychopath, isn't he?
yeah. I suppose that yes. Yeah. Mm. So, should we go on to another psychopath?
Yes, I'm very aware. We've got two psychopaths in this, and
Yeah.
we've got a helpless lover.
Yeah.
Right, let's go on. Let's go on.
This is Gloucester.
Yes, Henry VI, Part 3. Yeah.
Hmm.
And for a little bit of context, it's towards the end. Historically, well, after the King Henry VI passed away, Richard assumed the throne. But I think Shakespeare tapped into the evilness, the supposed evilness of Richard III, and
Mm.
this speech, for a little bit of context, is basically him saying to the audience another soliloquy, saying how talking about a plan of how he's
Mm.
going to topple the man at the top, which is the king, and
Yeah.
how he wants to do it. There's a lot of similarities here. I didn't realize how similar they were until now.
Yeah, there are. Yes,
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
And we're starting sort of about a third in, aren't we?
yeah. Because this thing is long. This thing's
Yeah.
very, very long. So do you want to go backwards again, or should we start from the
Well, I
top?
think let's see what it's like to go the way it's written, the more
Okay,
conventional way,
more
and see
conventional.
what other things we can pick up on.
Yeah. So we're starting from just a bit, my eyes too quick, or was there
Yes.
later on?
Let's go from there, and just perhaps you'd like to read right down to the end.
Oh, I'm happy to. Happy to. Okay. My eyes too quick, my heart overweens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can this world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought, and more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, And for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, to shake my legs of unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlicked bear whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? O monstrous fault to harbour such a thought! Then since this earth affords no joys to me, but to command, to check, to o'erbear such as are of better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown. And whilst I live, to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home, and I like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown. And from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more glazes than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like Sion take another Troy. I can add colours to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Were it farther off, I'll pluck it down.
Really nice. Lots of good stuff there.
Mm.
Very good. Yeah. Now I would encourage actors when they've got a big speech, maybe to do that going backwards exercise.
Okay.
But also perhaps if we just give a little title, like give that as a section on its own, and it might be called "It's Impossible, Forget It."
Mm.
At that point, I mean, we hadn't had the bit before, but so I'm taking a full stop as being the end of a thought, and so our next full stop takes us, I think, probably down to golden crowns.
Yeah.
We've got, and what other pleasure can the world afford? We've got a question mark there.
Mm.
I think for Shakespeare and his contemporaries, that wasn't the end of the thought.
Because I thought a question mark was like a full stop, like the end of a thought, but then
Yeah.
you're asking a question and then you're continuing with the answer with it's
Yes.
essentially it's the same thought,
Yeah. I
just
think,
carrying on. So yeah.
I think so. So if you could you do those two thoughts for us, Oliver, down to golden crowns from my eye?
Okay. So my eye's too quick down to accomplish 20 golden crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Mine eyes too quick, my heart overweens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard, what other pleasures can this wealth afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought, and more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns.
Yes, and actually there is another full stop there, of course. So that's
Mm.
actually two thoughts there.
Mm.
So the bit up to words and thoughts, we'll say there is no kingdom for Richard. It's kind of, well, supposing I didn't do that, what else is there?
Mm.
What would you call that section? What words would you put just to kind of put that into a nutshell?
Say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasures can this world afford? I could do this, I could do that. No, miserable thought, I can't do that. It's like,
Mm.
it's almost like, what's the point in a way?
Yes. And then to be even more specific, you've got, I mean, you could call it um, uh, just something like sex. Yeah, right. Well, so it's
Yeah.
sex, having a nice time with the ladies.
Mm,
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
yeah.
That might be the name of those two thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, that go down to which the ladies with my words and thoughts, and then, oh, miserable thought, more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns.
Yeah. It's almost like, what else can I do? What else can I physically do in this life?
Mm,
I could make my heaven in a lady's lap. I could do this. I could do that. Actually, no, I can't.
yes.
What
This,
else can I do?
yeah, this next bit is going to, I might say to Richard, well, why not? And now he's going to explain.
Mm.
So I think, yes, we got long, 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 long thought. My goodness.
It goes. I remember reading it, thinking, right, another thought, another thought. It's just like it's a chain. It's all one thought, and you barely have time to breathe as well because
Yeah.
it's this massive self-deprecation, this attack on himself, and how like my arm is withered up. I've got this mountain on my back. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this, and just yeah.
Yeah, so you've got 10 lines. And of course, you don't have to do them all on one breath.
Oh no, no, no! Because by the end you'll be like,
You would, yeah. And then we, as the audience, will worry about you.
oh
But
no,
what
no,
you have got is what I call really juicy punctuation. You've got colons, you've got semicolons,
yeah,
and you've got lots of commas. So if you think of a kind of hierarchy of punctuation, the big guy is the full stop.
mm,
Um, his second in command might be the colon. Next down would be semicolon, and then next down from that would be a comma. And I, if we focus on the colons and the semicolons, I think of a semicolon being, it's like a little junction box of two bits of sense. And it's also, if you imagine the audience saying, what do you mean? Tell me more.
mm,
It's often followed, it comes before the following explanation of what's gone before. And the colon, I call the drum roll. It's like this something big is being said after this colon. So if you're at an audition, Oliver, and you haven't had time to look at the script, if you see a colon, do something big with the next line, even if you don't know what's coming, because it usually, if it's not saying, oh, I'm going to give you a list now, or I'm going to give you a quotation now,
yeah,
it'll be the most important part of the sentence is coming up.
mm,
So for instance, um, well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. Oh, that's your semicolon. Where was the colon?
mm.
And why love forswore me in my mother's womb. That's quite a sentence in itself.
I mean, that's one hell of a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with, and then we go into quite a long a sentence where we have
Yeah.
the imagery of
It's
the
like
love.
from and
Nature.
I should not deal in her soft laws all the way down to oh monstrous fault to harbour such a thought. That's all one big thought, that chunk there.
Yeah, yeah, but it's of huge significance to him because
Mm,
we've got that colon before, or the editor has chosen to do that.
mm,
So, shall we have that the bit before, which was how about sex? Yeah, that's not going to happen.
yeah.
And then going into why. So we're going down to that carries no impression like the dam. If you could put those two thoughts together.
Yeah. So from my eyes too quick or from
Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's
yeah.
have that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry. And then down to she did
Uh,
corrupt nature or from where
carries no impression like the dam.
my eyes too quick, my heart overweens too much. Unless my hand and strength could equal them, Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can this world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought! And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity, to mock my body, to shape my legs of unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlicked bear whelp that carries no impression like the dam.
Really nice. I could feel that running away with you, actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, not in a bad way. I think, you're riding the surf of that. And each of those lines ending with a semicolon, you're kind of having to top the one you've said before and make
Like
the next
another
one
level, another level,
up.
another
Yeah,
level.
going
Yeah,
up and up. He really feels bad about this.
yeah.
Very nice indeed. Well, yes, well, good, sweetly. Yes, and I think she it's important that we don't think it's the mother who forswore me, it's love forswore me, and love corrupted frail nature.
Mm.
It wasn't anything that the mother did, it was further back than that.
Yeah, it's almost, and also like, you watch these documentaries about psychopaths and everything, and there's a common theme that runs through is
Mm.
that is the childhood, and there's a lack of love. So as you said,
Yeah,
so you hit on it right away. The love forswore me in my mother's womb. So
yeah,
right at the beginning, I've had
yes,
no love ever since I've been breathing and living on this planet.
yeah.
Love
Isn't that
has,
amazing? Shakespeare knew that.
yeah.
It's just astounding, isn't it?
So how does he do it? Honestly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just my eyes
Um,
quick. Yeah.
So just a little aware of time. But the next thought,
Yeah, I know
I
that.
might,
How much time have you got left, Kate?
well, um, could go over a bit, but
Do you want to say maybe 20 minutes or so? That'll take us to time.
well, it's up to three.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I reckon to go to three, certainly.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right. So we'll have to leave Helena for another time then. So we'll come back to her at some point.
Okay. Fine.
But we'll
Yeah.
definitely touch on the lighter monologues next time.
Right.
But yeah, but this is
The psychopaths today.
instead of psychopaths. But this is great. This is really, really good. Okay.
So I'd like you just to have a look at the next thought that comes up. What interests me is how it develops a speech. Why does he start with the words he does, and how does it unravel? So it's really interesting to see what is the next thought going down to be round impaled with a glorious crown. I think you have to do impaled to make it rhyme.
Impaled.
Make it
Yeah.
scan rather.
Round impaled with a yeah. So that when you say actually that's a good point. When you say like impaled, so when there's a little accent in the script on top of the e,
Yeah.
so you don't say impaled, you say impaled as a result.
Yes, and I suppose you'd have to check that out with the director whether he or she wants that. Um, but if they don't, just really fully speak the word impaled so
Mm.
that it will take up the time, perhaps.
Yeah, again going
Round impaled with a glorious crown.
yeah.
Um,
Whereas
it would
in
be another way round it, perhaps.
yeah, or round impaled with the glorious crown. So it's either
Yeah.
elongated or shortened. So there's
Yeah.
just depends on which one the director wants. Does he want it to be quick or does he want it to be sustained for a little bit?
Yes. Does he want it to be more traditional, perhaps, or more like it's the spoken word? But um, it's a very early Shakespeare, so it's very, very regular. So I think just to feel the beat, go with impaled, just so you can
Impaled.
start to get that. I think getting that beat it really into your own heartbeat is useful. It took me quite a few years before I could really feel that beat and know, if someone had missed a line or put in too many words and gone against that beat. So it's
Mm.
good to get to know it.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we're going to see, what would we call this next thought, Oliver?
Hmm. So, am I then a man to be beloved? A monstrous thought to harbour such a thought. Since this earth affords no joy to me, be round impaled with a glorious crown. It's almost like the word that jumps out at me is solution. There,
Hmm.
there is a way to. It's almost like he's talking about love, and he acknowledges it forswore him in his mother's womb.
Yeah,
Is this a way for me to get love for the first time?
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what would make me happy, what would make me feel loved, because I think I'm right in saying that, in those days it was kings thought it was their and queens thought it was their divine right. I've been chosen by God to sit here
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
chair.
Fine right of kings. Yeah.
Right of kings, yeah. And therefore the love that you give me is almost compulsory in a way.
Yes.
You
Yes.
love me because I am your king, because God said so.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, okay, now I can find a way to be loved
Yes.
by getting the crown, becoming the king, and therefore the love that I want will come to me, and by divine right as well as population right as well. So I think, yeah, from my perspective, I'd say that's here's my solution. Here's my way to get love.
So is that the name of that section? Here's
Yeah,
my here's my solution to get love.
solution to get love. Yeah,
If we called it that, and if you know that's the point you're making, because I think that's probably what these headings do, is it just keeps you very, very specific. What point am I making?
yeah.
Now do from and am I then a man to be beloved down to be round impaled with a glorious crown.
Okay. Am I then a man to be beloved? A monstrous fault to harbour such a thought. Then since this earth affords no joy to me, but to command, to check, to o'erbear such as are a better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown.
Yes. And I suppose because you've said crown already,
Yeah.
maybe it's with a glorious crown. Maybe it's qualifying that
So
a
more
bit.
emphasis on the second crown, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then you've got the next line, and yet I know not how to get the crown.
yeah. Another antithesis. Yeah, I'll get
Yeah.
the crown.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny actually.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the next heading is for our next thought, which is going to take us, I believe, down to hew
To
my way out with a bloody axe.
my way out with a bloody axe. Yeah, that's the next full stop. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's hear that whole thought.
Okay. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home. And I, like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown. And from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe.
Yes.
So
So
there's
what do you call that?
I don't it's a plan, but I think plan's a bit too vague.
Good.
Yeah, many lives stand between home, and all this imagery of lost in a thorny wood that
Mm,
rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns. So he's one with sharp objects. He's one with sharp things that can, I'm sure
yeah.
as kids we run by a thorn bush for the first time, we get a little cut on our
Yeah.
hands.
Hmm.
I am rent with sharp objects that can cause harm and
Yes.
make people bleed. And I will
And I also rend the thorns. I do it back to them.
rend the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way, straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown. So it's like I am one with things. I will find a way. So it's a bit like Iago in some ways. I know what I'm doing, but and I'm armed with these sharp with objects that can cause harm, and
Mhm.
I will find a way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would probably say plot, I would say. This is
Yes.
how like a plot or the desperate means by which I will do my best to get where I want to go.
I like that in that you acknowledge the desperation he's in. Tell us a bit about that because that makes up quite a lot of that thought, doesn't it? It's going to be hell. But we have the repetition of this word torment. Just do those lines with the
Yeah.
tormenting, three up from the end.
But torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe.
Yeah.
Torment, torment, torment. So
Torment myself. And from that torment, I will be free of that torment, or I'll hack my way out of it.
yeah,
So actually, it just made me really, it's perhaps more detailed than I will either get over it or I will grab the bull by the horns and I will hack my way through it.
yeah,
So I wonder if the next bit is about explaining, yeah, is he really going to leave it? Is he really going to free himself of the torment and not worry about it?
mm.
But it seems like even then it could go either way.
It's either I will be free from this,
Mm,
or I'm gonna find a way through it anyway.
yeah. Or
E-
I'll hack
Even
my way through. I'll
even if it kills me. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. And it's as
yeah,
you I think you said earlier, it's a chilling line that
yeah.
you my way out. All those monosyllables
Or
really lay it on the
my way
line.
with a bloody axe, and just the plosiveness of bloody axe. You know, when you get the emphasis on the B and that bloody axe and everything, just that as well is just it's a terrifying yet beautiful image of
Yeah.
what he's capable of. And I also think what we're discovering for the first time, just what he is capable of doing. He might be physically deformed, but he knows how to do things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Knows how to fight.
yeah,
So then our next thought seems if I think why I can smile and murder down to and frame my face to all occasions. Do you want to just do that thought
yep.
first?
Okay. Why I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions.
Good. Yes. And here we have, our old friend antithesis, because I
Mm,
think if you really just juxtapose content with grieves,
mm,
um, and then you've got the other way round. You've got oh no, yes, I can smile and murder while I smile, cry content to that which grieves my heart, um, wet my cheeks with artificial tears, frame my face to look at. Yes, I suppose it really is the content and grieve actually is the most the good and the bad,
yeah.
but it's dissembling.
So I'd smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart. Content, grief. Yeah,
Mm,
two very different things. So I'd probably call this section uh, it's almost like lack of like this is how less of a emotional being I am.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And yeah, I can smile at something terrible. Um, and I can be contented with something that gives me pain. So there's a sort of antithesis too, isn't there?
Mm. Wet my cheeks with artificial tears, you know.
Mm.
I can wet my face, you know that. And there's that saying, crocodile tears.
Yeah.
You know, when a crocodile eats something, they start to cry, but they're not
Mm.
sad. They're not
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
They're really not upset.
Yes.
Um, and frame my face to all occasions so I can disguise any dark thought, anything at all to keep my plan hidden as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good. And then our next thought, we're going to have lots of classical references. He suddenly goes very classical.
he
So it's
does.
just being aware of how the language is changing a little bit with that next one. Going down to Machiavel to school from
Machiavelli.
I'll drown.
I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like Sion, take another Troy. I can add colours to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiavel to school.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Suddenly the chameleon comes out of in the midst of all that, and then he goes back to Proteus, which is interesting, isn't it? But
Mm.
colors of the chameleon, I like those k sounds.
Yeah. And there's a big references to Greek mythology as well. You've got Nestor, you've got Sion, Troy, Proteus,
Yeah,
Basilisk, and I
that's
think
right.
basilisk. That word goes a lot further back than just Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. By the way,
Mm.
it's an ancient creature which J.K. Rowling has snapped on, but it's good.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but
Yes, it turned you to stone, I think.
mm,
If if it
yeah,
dared
uh,
at you. And I think even the sailors and the mermaid, that's oh, I think it was Jason and the Argonauts. The Argonauts had to not hear the singing of the mermaids
yes. It's like
as they poured onto the rocks.
if you heard the singing, then it would be that would hypnotize them, and then
Yeah,
they would drown. So it was like I would drown the more sailors than the mermaid shall.
yeah,
The slay more glazes than the basilisk. I will top every evil thing that these people have done
yeah,
to get what I want. And then, of course, the last two lines: "Can I do all this and cannot get a crown?
yeah,
Were it farther off, I'll pluck it down." So
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
matter how far that crown is in the air, or metaphorically in the air. I will reach and I will reach and I will reach and I will pluck it down and put it on my head. And
mm,
then you will bow at my feet.
yes,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
oh my word.
Yeah, Shakespeare loves this word pluck. He uses it a great deal in many plays, and I think it's that thing. He's not going to snatch it. He's just going to take it
Yeah. But
very succinctly. Pluck. It's a very interesting use of that word. Yeah. What else was I going to say? Good. Yes. Let's have the whole thing.
the whole thing, here we go.
Yes. Well, from my eyes too quick.
Yeah. I mean, even from there to the end, it's epic. And then that's with a good chunk of it taken out as well. I mean, there's a lot more to this, which is great. Right, here we go. From the top. My eyes too quick, my heart overweens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard, what other pleasure can this world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought! A more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity, to mock my body, to shape my legs of unequal size, to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos or an unlicked bear whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? O monstrous fault to harbour such a thought! Then since this earth affords no joys to me, but to command, to check, to o'erbear such as are a better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whilst I live, to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home. And I, like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like Sion take another Troy. I can add colours to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and send the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Tut! Were it farther off, I'll pluck it down.
Very nice. Well done. That's great.
There's a lot of
How,
evil in that.
yes. How did that feel doing that? What did you?
It felt like, obviously, there's two comparisons with Iago, but Iago felt very kind of don't, trying to figure out a puzzle. Whereas with this,
Yes.
it's like a stream of this is what I'm gonna. It's like something's gone inside him, and he's
Yeah.
completely snapped, and he's
Yeah.
gone, right, I've had enough. This is what I'm gonna do to get where I want to be. I'm,
Yes.
I'm, this is it. This is my breaking point.
Hmm.
I'm done. I'm done. And this is what's going to happen. And all you lot, the audience, you see what's going to happen next. And the irony is, like, by history, you know what's going to happen next. You know
Yeah.
what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt really like there was no time to think. There was no time to think any other thought other than this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Do you not know what I've been through? Do you not know what I've been through? I'm going to get what I want. And there
Yeah.
was and not at any point do you feel like, oh, did I go too far there? Am I going to do this? And it's like, nah, there's none of that.
Yeah.
None of that at all. At
So
all.
that's so interesting, Oliver, because when we did Iago, we kept saying, oh, there's a full stop halfway through a line. Oh, there's a very short sentence. There's another very short sentence. And you don't get that in this. You really do get that wave, that surge of verse, don't you? So again, going back to Patsy, she would say form is content. What you see on the page is exactly what you get in the character. So that's fascinating. You've actually really experienced that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, doing Shakespeare is an experience, but then once you really like delve into it, and again, the commas, the language, the way it's written, and oh, by the way, this is verse. For anyone who's watching on YouTube, you see like the lines here. That's a sign it's a verse speech as well. If it's prose, it's like a rectangle in a way, isn't it?
Yes.
But yeah, but it's and you got all these thoughts, and when you just follow the way that it's written, it just opens up so many more things. Even now, it's like I didn't think of it that way. And think of it that way, and then you really get a sense of all this stuff that Richard's kind of bottled up and bottled up and bottled up, and then sadly, and it's just gone bang, and now there's nothing that can stop him now.
Yeah.
All empathy's gone. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a thrill actually. It was thrilling.
Mm, great. Well, I think that was excellent.
Thank you. No, thank you, Kate. This has been amazing. I know we'll call it there. I know you've got to shoot off now, but we'll do some. Let's do this again. I'd love to do another dissecting with you. We'll do the happy monologues next
Yeah,
time.
we will.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'll
I
get
think,
to Helena, and
yeah.
another one that springs to mind is Benedict's one. I do much wonder, or this can be no trick, or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Lovely. Those are great. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, it'd be good to do a prose one. Um,
Yes,
is that prose? It sounds like it's prose, that Benedict one. I'll have a look.
I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
lemon
So it's good to
rectangle.
do.
Yeah, it's got one of my favorite lines in it. I think it's that one where he says, "But I don't know, it might be something else. But by my troth, I have asked you to come in for dinner."
Mm.
There's a double meaning in that.
Yes. Yes.
I love that one. It's so
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, but this can be no trick is definitely one. We'll get to that next time. But brilliant. Cool. It's a slightly different ending for today, but there's more to come, guys. So we'll do the happy monologues next time. Yeah. But just before we finish, Kate, thank you so much for coming back. This has been a really, really great episode to do, and so just the first time I've never done anything like this before, doing this language dissection via an episode. But it's been an absolute thrill, and I've really, 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 really enjoyed it, and it's been so lovely to just do some Shakespeare again and really delve into it, and just to work.
Well, yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure, and I think you've done really well taking on the exercises. So good work, Oliver. Well done.
Yes, I got a good review. I got a good.
Yeah, you did.
Brilliant. We'll do this again at some point, so watch this space, guys. But yeah, just Kate, this has been fantastic and an absolute pleasure having you back. We'll do a tiny debrief. I'll finish the recording and then we'll sort of part ways after that. But for me, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Uncensored Critic podcast, and I'll be back very, very soon. And for the second time, Kate Godfrey, thank you so much.
Thank you.